Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Kevin, the first half of the Two Shy Guys and One Mic show with my man here. What?
You did it again.
What I do?
Two Shy Guys and the Mic.
Two Shy Guys and the Mic.
He actually came up with the name, and he can't even remember it.
See, I come up with so many names. See, I'm like a name generator. You know, I just come up with so many of them that sometimes it just be slipping the dome. But hey, thanks for joining us. We definitely appreciate the time and attention that you give us. Today we asked the question. We started out with, can social media help you grow your net worth? And we kind of did a play on words because we were thinking about network.
Yes.
But then we were thinking, like, what really do you want to do when you think about a network, especially coming from an entrepreneurial or just kind of money, wealth building point of view, in that first and foremost, we all in this life, whether we want to admit it or not, we seek to grow our net worth. Not for selfish reasons, but for selfless reasons. Because the more money you have, the more money you can give. The more wealth that you have, the more resources you have access to, in order to be a bigger, more charitable, loving, and giving person in this world. So we decided to talk about what can you use social media to grow your net worth. And of course, you're talking with me and you're talking with Leif and me. So of course, the answer is going to be what?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely, it's essential. We think that it's high priority that we use these tools, these platforms like social media and any other platform on the internet, to use them to grow your net worth and first and foremost, grow your network, so that you can build a support system, a community, a tribe that you can formulate and design and architect a tribe that you want to be a part of, versus happen to haphazardly falling into a tribe or a culture like in the years of yesterday, when you just, hey, I got out of school, I studied, now I gotta go get a job, and now I'm a part of this community that I really don't even know much about and really couldn't care less about. But we live in an age and a time where you can now cultivate and choose who you want to connect with, collaborate with, and build a network with, so that you can, in a community, build together your net worth.
Yeah, and even as simple as like job placement, right? Finding a job, trying to get hired somewhere, you have to have connections into that company, into that place of work. So having the connections in terms of knowing maybe possibly who the owners are, who the hirers are, or even some of the employees that can give you a good word, is always important in order to increase your income. Also, not only that, but even as an entrepreneur, you always have to know new people to come in contact with, distribution.
Oh man, studio technical difficulties over here. We're gonna get it together though.
Yeah,
all right, I think we're good. Snap back. Ain't that a rap song or something?
I have no idea. Snapback, I know, is definitely a hat though. That's a snapback.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, what we were saying is having increasing your net worth is always dependent upon other people, right? OPM, other people's money, and really that boils down to community, having a variety of people that you can reach out to, whether it be a good or a service that you can sell to. Is always other people's money that helps all of our wealth increase. So increasing your net worth is vitally important in these days and times, in any day and time, really, because most people, when they're secluded, they really don't increase their wealth at all outside of reaching out to people. So what are some tips that you can think we can share with the people?
Some tips is, as far as like using social media, you now have access to people, to avenues, decision makers, gatekeepers that you may not have had access to in the past, or may have been harder for you to make a connection with in the past. So definitely take advantage of social media and look up some people, look up some gatekeepers, some decision makers, some people in positions that you would like to get in contact with, and use social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Use all of them, any one of them at one of these platforms to get connected and get in relationship and an acquaintance with some of these hubs in the network, so that you can go about building your net worth. Just an example on that, I recently, well, not recently, but in the past, I've made connections just simply through Facebook with an individual who happened to have a nice site that got a lot of traffic, and he was a very influential person in his sphere of his category, as far as like in the blogging sphere and stuff like that. So that may have not been made available to me had not I used the Facebook platform. And I just simply wanted to reach out to him because I heard him on a radio show. And I mean, how easy is that you hear somebody on a radio show or a live stream, you look them up on Facebook, LinkedIn, and then you just send an email or a message, or you just reach out to them. Now you got access to telephones even. I've had people just contact me in my messenger just because they see me on a live stream and said, "Hey, I just wanted to talk to you for a minute."
Yeah, for sure.
So the accessibility, the availability of people in this world today, it's amazing, and it would be ashamed not to take full usage of these tools that's available to us and use them to grow your network, which hopefully translates to growing your net worth.
Okay, yeah, and one of the things that actually made us start talking about this, what's going on, Miss Cheryl?
Hey, Cheryl.
Somebody had made mention to us that they're in a new location, a new state, city, and they're shy. They really don't know how to get out and go meet people. Social media is definitely a great place to do that. There's a variety of different ways to do it. You can do it through Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and but definitely utilize LinkedIn and also meetups. If you have a specialty or a specialized field that you're very interested in, meetups are a great way to meet people. I know that every time I travel, when I go somewhere, like I'm a designer by trade, anytime I go to a new location, I always go on meetup.com and I look for a variety of meetups that basically focus around my interests, right? I know early on when we were early in the Bitcoin days, me and Lamar, we would go to every Bitcoin meetup, especially when we traveled out west to San Francisco, even some of the smaller cities. We would go to these meetups, and then that's how we slowly started building up our network. Because what you find over time, if you have a specialized interest, then you will start meeting new people every time you go to these locations, and you'll start meeting the same people sometimes. Conferences are a good way to go as well in order to meet people. Make sure that you seek certain kinds of people out and those kinds of things. See, Mwando, he said it's a tool to finding your tribe. Definitely. Let's say you guys get started selling something I would need definitely. And like Mwando said, he used the perfect word, tribe. You're finding people of like mind, and that's what we talk about all the time, increasing your network, increasing like-minded people, find people that you can rock with. How can two walk together lest they agree? That was when Amos 3:3. So it is that kind of vibe, right? And again, not only that, but your group of people can help you find other people that are outside of your scope, right? I'll share a story with you guys in a little bit about how we utilize our network in order to grow literally our net worth. And that came in very viable, especially like when we first went out west to California, we didn't know anybody. Like literally, it was like maybe one person out there, and we were able to grow our network within a span of maybe several days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
amazing.
I don't know if any of you know me from my personal page. If you see the Dr. Dre video, the Dr. Dre post that we have on there, that was all within a matter of days that we were able to meet these people, and we did that just by hustling and networking, utilizing social media in order to do that.
Yeah, it's amazing. You just talked about within a matter of 7 days, and that's the amazing thing about these tools is that it does not take a lot of time.
Not at all.
To do this. Like I said, the power of these tools is amazing. And when I'm talking, I'm thinking about what we were discussing this topic earlier. It made me think about the book Super Connect by Richard Koch and Greg Lockwood, and he talks about harnessing the power of networks and the strength of weak links. A weak link is somebody that's out of your inner circle, and it's those acquaintances on the outside of that inner circle that actually provide some of the more biggest jumps to your people equals money. That is so much. That's so true. It's those acquaintances that actually provide the biggest steps or links to people that may be on the outer rim of your network that will actually help you make that big jump as far as your net worth. There is some truth to the notion that Kevin 6 degrees of separation from the Kevin Bacon thing. Yeah, there is some truth to that. He talks about it in the book. And some studies that were done by some sociologists and stuff, and there is some truth to that. Everybody on this planet is connected in some way, shape, or form, and it's just about finding those right combinations. And with the tools, like I said, that's available to us today, it's becoming more easily seen, and that we can actually see these connections. So at our level, when you're actually as a participant on these platforms, you really don't see the forest for the trees. But if you're at the Facebook office, corporate level, they see all the connections.
Yeah, definitely. And even going back to the 6 degrees, I think it's even less now, actually. When I look at especially tools like LinkedIn, and you go through your list of people, and it's like, man, okay, I'm just one degree away from this one person, right? And it may be somebody that can change or impact your life immediately. And I want to even take that a little bit further in terms of talking about if they are in your network, how do you effectively reach out to them to get them to respond to you?
Yeah.
Right? It's one thing to have the tool. It's one thing to see Kevin. It's like, okay, I'm in the same building as Kevin. Now, what is the next step for me to get Kevin to become part of my network? And this is where it really gets complicated for shy people, right? But here's how you overcome your shyness. Here's how you overcome your fears. Is if you really want to reach a particular person, this is for particular people only, you research that person.
That's
right?
what I was going to say.
If I know that Kevin, he's into fitness, he's into natural things, he's into working in the earth, then and he's famous, if he's famous, then there's information I can read up about him to know what his interests are. And especially if you're going to a meetup, you already know what everybody's interests are, so that's actually an easy introduction. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you're in a design meetup. How did you get into design? Just small icebreakers and actually ask real questions, things that you may have an interest in. And that tends to break the ice in and of itself. When you're interested in other people, people become interested in you.
Man, that's Dale Carnegie, ain't it?
I don't know.
Oh, how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah, but it's like just having a genuine interest in what somebody does, that actually helps break the ice in terms of getting them to communicate with you. Yeah, icebreaker. Yeah, and so it's those kinds of things. Like for me, like being a shy person, I don't like small talk. I just mentally I don't have time for it. It just bothers me. But Lamar, my business partner, tell you when I get into a room, I make sure I go and I ask real questions. Sometimes I'll just look at somebody, see them interacting with other people, and then I'll say something to them. I know how not to be shy. I just prefer to be laid back and reserved as just my zero state. But when in those scenarios, you have to be confident in one, who you are. Be very confident in who you are, and also, I agree, Cheryl. People love to talk about themselves, but again, get them to answer real questions. Because if you find out real questions about that particular person, then the next time you meet them or the next time you want to follow up with them, you know something about their personal life that they themselves have told you that you can bring back up to continue the conversation on.
Yep.
And that's something that a lot of people miss. I always make it a point when I do meet new people, utilizing social media, utilizing these meetups, I follow up and I always bring up something from our conversation to make them remember me. Because it's one thing if you remember them, but it's more important that they remember you.
Yeah, that's right on point. Studying, and it's like you said, studying is becoming much more easier today, especially with Facebook timeline, especially with everything. A lot of details that people just put out there. It's so readily accessible to us. The FBI and the CIA. They're being worked out of a job right now because everybody there's no secrets anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like here, just print.
Yeah,
print,
you ain't
right?
got to do no stakeouts or nothing no more.
Yeah. And also, it just made me think of something. And now with the fact that you have mobile devices, because before last year, I didn't have a mobile phone. I used Wi-Fi for everything.
Oh man.
But anyway, that's why I'm new to this whole phone piece, right? However, what you can do is, instead of, like Cheryl said, she used to keep index cards, add them directly into LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Boom, right there. It's like, hey, here, type your name in for me. Get all that information right there. Now you know even more information about them while you're actually talking to them. So that in and of itself is a blessing. And before that, I used to just take pictures of people.
Yep.
I used to take pictures of people, put them in my contacts. So now I remember their face. That's why social media is very important, because you not only remember the information, but you can attach a face to it. You can attach an event to it, and all of these different things that help you attach yourself to these people.
It literally becomes an augmented tool, like a SD card.
For sure.
For
it's just
brain.
like anybody, like, for example, what was it? When were you here? Was it Sunday? No, Saturday. Remember, Lamar was like, "Man, who was that dude that we met? That he did such and such. We met a guy. He was from Y Combinator. He built an app for barbers.
Oh yeah.
He was like, what's his name? I was like, okay. I remember his face. I was like, I think it's Dave. And go to my LinkedIn. Boom, he's right there because I added him the day we met.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, so that way I didn't have to worry about retaining too much of his information. I remember what he looked like and I remembered his name, so I could easily go through the D's. It's like I was thinking Dave, it was David. Looked him up, boom, right there, here's his information. So that kind of stuff is very important. Utilize these tools that are set before you. Use your phone as a tool. If you have a phone, chances are you do. Chances are you're on Facebook on your phone as opposed to a computer. Utilize your phone as a business tool.
The phone is the ultimate business tool.
Yeah, you have to utilize that information, because you definitely want to make sure. Again, we're talking about getting out, growing your network, all of these kinds of things. Utilize these tools in order to grow your network, which affects your network.
But not only just from a business standpoint. We've had contact with individuals just talking about they need support in life, general. So just not only just talking about from a business standpoint as far as net worth with wealth and resources, but net worth in terms of people, in terms of getting support when you're away from family, in terms of growing your net worth, in terms of connecting with, I think Mwando talked about like minds.
Yes.
Growing your tribe. Growing your net worth in terms of having people that you can actually resonate with on a soul level, on a heart level. It's like, man, these people around here crazy, but I know there's a group of people, there's two guys that come on live stream that I know that we are resonating on all levels, and it's good to know that there are people out there that think like I think. I'm not alone. I do have some kind of support system out there. I do know that there may be a time in the future where we can do a meetup in the physical world. Yeah,
exactly. Prime example, I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. A dude named Michael Foster, met him years ago, and we've never met in person, like ever. Met him years ago because we both had a similar interest in comic books, and specifically it was a book by Ben Caldwell, and he had a forum in the back of his book like, hey, you can visit me online, and through there. And actually this was back in 2004. It's crazy to even think about the time. No, it was 2005. It's crazy to think how much time has gone by. The dudes that I met in their forum, I'm still friends with them today.
Yeah.
And I've never met them in person. I met them, like one guy, I met him while he began his drawing journey, and now he works at Cartoon Network. The other guy, he started off animating during the time that we met, and he, became a freelancer. This was before I even owned a business. we were talking about our dreams and all of those things, and again, met him online. And we were utilizing an online forum, talked to him. We would chat almost every day. We've done video conferences with each other. But even still, it's like we still have a connection to this day. And it's all because we utilized the tools that were available to us. And we had similar interests. And then those interests developed more conversations. And now it's like we've seen each other's kids grow. It's crazy how that stuff works. But that's the way these things develop, and they can grow over time. See, Cheryl said that was back in the day. Index cards funny. Yeah, there's an app I use now to scan cards. See, you still using cards. You got to even step it up even more, Cheryl. I'm gonna get on you about that. See, Mo Mosley, what's up, Mo? Said these guys totally belong in cool black dudes group. You must be talking about somebody else.
Yeah. I ain't never been in no cool dude group.
Well, I can't say that I haven't been. I'm always cool. I'm a brother, man. Yeah, but anyway, also, like you said, getting out of the digital and getting into analog where you can meet people in real life.
That's the most important thing is use digital as a substitute, a supplement to help you in the real world. Because it's the real world connections that really do satiate the soul and that really matter in the end of things. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that transpire in the analog that gets lost in the digital, being that digital is zeros and ones, and then analog is zeros and ones to infinity, right?
No. Analog is this.
Right. And well, analog, I was just saying zeros and ones in that there's always more zeros and ones in between the zeros and ones.
Yeah, but you're talking about computer code versus real life.
Yeah.
That's different, man. There's no zeros and ones in this unless you're talking about DNA strands. Okay, we're going to get off of
DNA is real life.
But the way you do make that, let's say, the unsociable
social network.
That's really true. One way to actually take that is, hold on, Mwando said something real quick. He said the flip side is the fake ones too. Their profile is far from their real life and competence. I definitely agree. But again, utilizing those conversations, it's the same way you figure out if somebody is fake or phony in real life, right?
Yeah.
The more you come in contact, you can only fake the funk for so long. The more you come in contact with somebody, whether it be through writing, whether it be through meeting them in person, you slowly to see who their character really is. And again, we talked about resumes and seeing what other people say about them. That'll let you know.
Man, well, that's one thing about, when you look at people, that's one thing about Facebook and the timelines now is that the timelines, you can only, like you said, fake for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And the timeline gives you, you keep strolling. Yeah, it gives you away, and they look at the groups, they look at the things